Salima, everyone. Welcome to today. Welcome. If you're just joining us today, it is already 9 o'clock my time. So my mom was like, wait, do you hear that sound? Am I hearing it? Oh, I'm hearing it somewhere else. Hold on, stand by.
Oh no, is it me?
No, I had the live stream up on a different tab and I'm like, hearing the music
okay.
again. It was like deja vu. My mom's like, why are you yelling at me? Why are you talking so loud? I'm like, it's 9 o'clock. I'm tweaked. I've been writing for 10 hours straight. And this is my normal voice at this point, but I think she had just woken up. So good morning. If you're over there on the East Coast, just waking up, welcome to astrology, myth, magic, mysteries, and more in whatever we decide to talk about. Today, I'm joined with my very lovely guest host or special, not guest host. What are you today? You're not a guest today. Help. Co-host, that's the word. It's a co-host.
Co-pilot.
The normal kind. Yes, co-pilot in crime. Niki of Revolution Astrology. You can contact her, obviously, at revolutionastrology.com. She went ahead and put her name right there. So you could email her. Today, we've got a bunch of cool stuff to talk to you about. Namely, the new moon coming up here. No matter what they're telling you out there, then the new moon is not in Pisces, okay? Not at 9 degrees of Pisces. I don't care how special the number 9 is. It is definitely not in Pisces. It is definitely in Aquarius. And we're going to be talking about that. We're going to give you a big monthly forecast. Me and Niki, we're going to tag team that sucker. Hey, Lorna, Roxanne, look up astrology. Friar Pezzo is in the chat with us today. So hi, Friar Pezzo. Everybody out there sending lots of love and joy and gratitude for all of you. So if you're new here, if you don't know, my name is Abbey Quinn and I do ancient astrology, primarily Sumerian astrology, but we mix in various Mesopotamian myths and a little Babylonian and stuff in there too. You can find out all about what I do at my website, SumerianAstrology.com. And while you're there, you can join us for our free meditation support group, which is less on the meditation and a lot more on the support group. We are on Zoom every Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern, and you can register for that on the website. You can also learn Sumerian. Oh, Frank, I'm going to forget his name. Josh, you guys, Josh. Why can't I think of his name?
I don't know.
I've been running all writing for basically like 3 weeks now, nonstop. So my brain is on meltdown. But he is an Assyriologist, and he's really cool. He and Megan Lewis, Josh Bowen. Yes, Josh. Yes, okay. I think my names came to me. Anyways, they have this cool book called Introduction to Astrology, and I saw on Myth Vision podcast. If you guys aren't familiar with the YouTube channel, it's awesome. Definitely go check it out. But he had Josh Bowen on there the other day, and he was like, "Yeah, you can, check out this course that he does." Well, his Sumerian Introduction to Sumerian course is like $300. Like per person, which is great because this guy's a superstar and he absolutely deserves his money. His time is valuable. But all I'm saying is I felt really good because I'm like, oh my God, like my course will definitely teach you way more than you will ever learn from that. And it's 100% free. So definitely check that out. Obviously, you can get astrology readings, learn about ancient astrology while you're on my site too. So I'll shut up now. Niki, why don't you tell us a little bit about you? Because everybody's dying to know.
I do my astrology a lot like you, so it's you can call it ancient astrology because I'm looking at the sky. I'm using the real sky, and my style sort of leans more towards like evolutionary astrology. I really like digging into the psychology of it all, looking at like the moon's nodes, Pluto, all of that cool stuff. I feel like you discover a lot of cool shit about yourself when you dig a little bit deeper. But yeah, I do natal chart readings and you can reach me right here. I don't have a website yet. It's in the works.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do astrology.
Awesome. Yeah. So anybody out there, if you have any questions, comments for us today, if there's something you want us to look at while we're doing the forecast, you just got to let us know. I was telling Niki right before I got on the call, and I don't know how we got on the subject. Oh, we were talking about previous debates that we've had on the channel, namely with the surprise debate with Ola Walney that we were not prepared for because we didn't know that she was not an astrologer anymore. But she was asking me about if we'd gotten any more hate mail comments, nasty comments, which we probably had a few, but we got through most of them, I think, the other call that we had talked about it. But anyways, over on one of my favorite TikTok React channels, it's called DM Reacts, and you guys should definitely go over there and give him some love, like and subscribe to his channel. He's really cool. But I commented yesterday, my daughter got stuck in the elevator.
Stop.
Sometimes the elevator just stops and now you're stuck on it. And it happened to me a few months back, and I was on there. It was 1 o'clock in the morning. And I was walking my dogs, and I was on there without my phone. So I was just standing there waiting for somebody to come and get me because whatever they were doing at the elevator place where they fix it or whatever, it just wasn't working at the call center. So I said something. He had this video about like how dangerous, it was on TikTok, he's showing it, how dangerous all these elevators are and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, it's crazy. My daughter legit got stuck on the elevator. The whole apartment building heard her screaming within like 30 seconds. You could hear her from the 6th floor. I'm like, what's that horrible sound? So I went out.
No.
Well, maybe she had gotten her legs, severed or something. By the way it sounded, I'm imagining her gushing all of the blood out and whatnot. No, she was just stuck between floors. And this lady on there, she's like, you let your daughter ride the elevator, like your 8-year-old on the elevator by herself? And I'm like, what? Is this a real thing? So I need you guys to tell me in the chat, okay? Is it weird to let your daughter ride the elevator by her? She's 8 years old. When I was 8, I was making dinner for my whole family and babysitting like my infant brother, which I'm not saying that's good. I'm just saying like,
Yeah, I mean, we were riding our bikes wherever the fuck we wanted, coming back at like when it got dark, like 8, 9 o'clock. I mean,
yeah, we were running the whole neighborhood by then.
Yeah.
So now I realize it's a different world, especially in the United States. And I can't speak for other countries, but like here they send their like 5 and 6-year-olds to school by themselves. They're like walking to school. Like we live in a city of probably 1.5 million people, and kids are just going back and forth to school all by themselves. So I think she should be able to, operate the elevator alone. But I mean, maybe I'm mistaken.
I think it sounds like a United States problem because I have a friend in Japan, and they let their kids just play and have fun, and they just don't really worry about the same things we worry about here, like with kidnappings and weird stuff. But I think it has a lot to do with like our media and how it's portrayed. I mean, after 9/11, they had our attention. So, I mean, I remember watching Nancy Grace and all the horrible stories that were on after that. So
yeah, but and I don't know because I had like my hangout at home, out in the sticks in the middle of nowhere. And then my best friend lives in Flint, no water, Flint. And people were always getting thrown into vans, like right at the mall, right at Walmart in front of the store. Like the white van would stop and they just grab people and throw them in the van. So, yeah, if I was in America, I wouldn't let my kid go anywhere by themselves, but it just seems kind of ridiculous that she can't be in the elevator. Plus in an apartment building, I don't know how stuff works where you guys are at, but like it's a closed door. You got to have a code to get in. It's not just like random people. And I must have ate too much sugar today or something. I had chocolate right before the show because I'm really chatty. But
you're so lucky. You're so lucky. Holy fuck.
It's good. It's good Russian chocolate too. It's clean. It's not Hershey's out of the bottle. It's not.
Oh my! I know. I gotta throw that away. I didn't even throw it away yet. I actually left it on the counter and I stared at it. And then I was
mean mugging the Hershey's bottle.
Because I'm gonna have to throw it away later. I just couldn't do it. Oh.
I forget what I was talking about. It probably wasn't important though. You guys, let's do this today. Niki, if you're up for it, let's go right into the forecast. How do you feel?
Yeah, let's take a look. Let's see what the heck is going on. What's the astro forecast?
Let's do it. All right, here we go. Stand by. Entertain while I manipulate screens. Make best joke. Okay. Best joke. Go.
I can't. I don't know. I'm wrong person to ask.
I don't have any either.
Joke. I don't really. Yeah, the ones I have are really inappropriate. But I can't even think of those right off the top of my head. I get
too much pressure.
Too much pressure. Make them laugh. Oh.
Okay. Fryer said, make the Hershey's bottle your water bottle for the gym.
Oh my God, that's a good idea.
That's a great idea.
I don't know. I thought about joining a gym, but I just don't want to be around that many people anymore. Like, even just that, I'm like, I don't want to do it.
Well, give yourself a break. You need like an adjustment period, but definitely go to the gym. The gym is so awesome. And well, I guess there's definitely gyms that suck. That's true. But like go. And I'm telling you, Nikki, just squat and deadlift. That's all you need to do. Switch up your squats. Do Bulgarian split squats the one day and then like high bar or low bar squats the other day. And like that's all you do twice a week, 2 hours a week. That's all you need. You'll have horse thighs. It'll be amazing.
Hell yeah. I've been doing a lot of Pilates, a lot of yoga stuff. I mean, I got the booty bands.
There you go.
I was like, this is the year I build a trunk.
Do you want to, I'm not going to give you the option.
I mean, well, when is the new moon? Tomorrow, right? Yeah, the 27th-ish.
This is set up for here. Let me change the location. I got it for Giza, I think. Where do we want to do? Where are we at? Let's do somewhere on the East Coast. We'll do New York.
Yeah, New York's great.
Concrete jungle, wet dream tomato. Isn't that how
I've never been there.
Yeah.
Never been there. My
why can't it find? It doesn't want to pop up for me.
The astro map goes right through it. So I thought about going there, but I don't think I like that many people. Like being around that many people.
No, that's too much.
New York streets just seem like I'd get trampled.
Fryer says my favorite music comes from booty bands. Yeah.
Yeah, booty band.
Okay, let's see. Yeah, let's see here. I mean, yeah, 27.
So we have an Aquarian new moon.
28.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely right around 8 o'clock-ish, 9 o'clock on the East Coast in the United States. So you guys got to do your math on that one. Convert it. So Nikki, I'm going to let you run this for now. I'm going to let you go first and give us an idea of what's going on for the whole month. Give us an idea.
Oh, the whole month. Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh my God, the whole month? I was just looking at
it's mostly the same stuff. It's mostly the same.
It is. Well, yeah. So, I mean, the new moon is usually like the low energy period of time where you kind of look at reassessing everything. You know, what are your goals? What have you released in the past cycle? And what is this new cycle about? And in Aquarius, I mean, it's a lot about like change and reinventing yourself, your style, your work. I mean, wherever it's landing in your chart, it's going to be different for everybody. But Aquarius likes to take things and it likes to rework them and reinvent them. You know, Leo is more like its opposite sign, you know, is more like wants to create something that's new and exciting and unique to them. But in Aquarius, we kind of like take our old stuff. We take the things that we want to redo and reinvent and reinvigorate it. So I think like change is going to be definitely something we're going to deal with this cycle, whether, you know, we like it or not. Let's see, you know, probably be a good time to like connect with different groups, different, you know, tribes, make some professional connections. Yeah, probably a good time to feel connected and get, you know, connected to the kind of causes that, you know, you feel, you know, connected to. Let's see, what else do we have? So that's, let's see, our new moon is trine Mars, and Mars just came out of retrograde in Gemini. It has not been my favorite transit or retrograde or any of it. Okay. I'm going to tell you guys why. All right. I'm going to tell you why. That's like my 12th, 11th house, Cancer, Gemini. Okay. And when he started going backwards, like I started dealing with like paranoia, all this like weird shit and all these weird feelings. And it was just like, oh, what is this? Like, I don't know. It's just like personal shit, garbage you got to deal with, you know, and I'd been dealing with it. And it got better when he moved into Gemini. Things got lighter. It got a little bit more mental plane, more like, it was softer. It just felt better. But right before he stationed, right before that, it just like my brain just went, and I've had the hardest time focusing, hardest time getting my shit together. I mean, stuff's getting done, all right, but mentally just all over the place. The ideas, and I actually started using my phone, my voice messaging, just to like get ideas down, because things and information, stuff like that, just coming in so fast, and having the ideas just kind of, come in, and then you lose them right away if you don't, jump on top of it. That's how it's been for me. I'm like, wait, what was I just thinking about? That was like so genius. Why didn't I, where'd it go? That's what's been happening to me. And I'm almost positive it's because natally my Mars and my Mercury are together, they're conjunct, and anything Mercury and Mars do, is just going to affect me together. It's going to affect my body. It's going to affect my mind. And then we had, Pisces moving into, Mercury moving into Pisces. And all of a sudden I've got people messaging me like, why am I having all these weird dreams? What's going on? And I'm like, oh, you're dreaming too? Holy shit. And he's connecting with Saturn. So that's like a really good time to start taking your ideas seriously, start taking like your work seriously, a good time to really buckle down and like get some things done. Like you've been, just smashing this course and working on it and getting a bunch done. So we've been talking about that.
Too much done. It's too much information, but I'm gonna try to.
I get it. I totally. It's like, what do I leave out? It's a good time though to get realistic about your dreams, your aspirations, the things your goals. I think it's a good time to take a good realistic look at it. Saturn always has a plan. There's always something going on. Sometimes it seems like it's not going to work, but I mean, it takes patience. It does take, hard work and persistence. It's not easy when it comes to Saturn. So I get the whole, Saturn is challenging, talk, but I don't know. It's not that deep. You don't have to Saturn's not Satan,
Right.
He approaches everybody differently. So, and I remember hearing all of these different astrologers when I first started listening to podcasts and learning. I mean, some of them really demonize the hell out of Saturn. Like, yes, he's coming for you. Like, oh, he's not scary. He's not that bad. But yeah, your thoughts may seem a lot more deeper. Your dreams may be a little bit more real, like actual dreaming. So yeah. And I think on the worst part of it though, I think just because it's Pisces and you could definitely build a wall around yourself. You could close yourself off. That's like the shadow side. I could see that happening. Not really something that can actually, it's just the shadow side of it. You might find yourself feeling a little down, a little depressed. Just kind of the way it is in Pisces a little bit. The moods fluctuate. Let's see. Like Venus is still in Pisces and she's going to be there for a while. So March 1st, she goes into retrograde, right? So just a few days.
I
think
she's
so.
Already in retrograde? I think she's already.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, she's already in retrograde. Yeah. She's been away. So maybe she goes direct. Hold on. You guys, I can't keep dates in my brain. We're lucky that I'm keeping words in my brain on any given day. So let's see. She's going to be in here. She's still retrograde into the number 4 month, you guys. Which one's that?
Yeah, April, May.
There we go. Yeah, right. There we go. Right up until 4, May. Right? That's the one.
Like more important information than.
That's
how I am when I learn something. Like, okay, I gotta let something go.
Right. Exactly.
So this cool thing happened yesterday. One of my regular customers who I talk to like incessantly about her chart all the time. She's like, oh my God, guess what? My new boyfriend is so pissed off because my ex like keeps calling me from like private numbers. And he even answered the phone one day and like got into it with them. And I'm like, this just happened. She's like, yeah, this week. This is just like, don't know what to do. Should I change my number? I'm like, fuck yeah, change your number, girl. Change it. Venus is going into retrograde. I don't know who else might call you. So like the standing goes with Venus in retrograde. It's like a reevaluate, redo, that kind of stuff with retrogrades. And I have found that to be true. I've tested it and I'm like, I don't like it, but it's real. It's kind of real. So you could expect, that type of stuff happening, like exes showing up, like old
relationships,
family stuff, old job stuff, just all sorts of old like shit you thought you took care of already might be coming up. And with it being in Pisces, it gets super emotional. It can be, super, just deep and sometimes, with Pisces, there's a lot of talk about like karma and karmic and endings and beginnings and things like that. So, I mean, it could take on that kind of a flavor. But yeah, I don't know. I've never paid attention when Venus was in retrograde. So I'm going to be paying attention this time and see how it's actually reflecting and affecting my own life. Okay. So yeah, I mean, I don't have anything to worry about. So Venus goes in the retrograde and I'm like, I got a clean slate. So I should, hopefully, fingers crossed.
It is interesting that so many people talk about Mars or Mercury or even Saturn retrogrades. Sometimes but like nobody ever talks about the Venus retrogrades.
Yeah, I mean,
they do, but they don't, It's weird.
Well, I've heard the astronomy of it, the morning star, the evening star, and I'm still like trying to, remember all of it. I can't remember all of that off the top of my head. But yeah, I mean, she only goes into retrograde, every other year and a half or something, or was that Mars? I don't know. I can't remember.
I don't know. I couldn't recall what the 4-month was. So don't ask me. I'm not the person.
Well, the fact that she went through this whole year without going retrograde, I followed along, and man, I have just been like living the Venus life here. So I'm like, well, holy shit. She's got some influence for real.
Does Venus treat you well, or do you find that
Venus treats me really well? Okay. I feel like I have a Venus square moon in my natal chart, and so you read about that kind of stuff, and it's negative, but I haven't had the most negative time. Challenges, and dealing with internal stuff, But I mean, squares are, like you said, they just build strength. You have to deal with the stuff. You can't just escape it. So, definitely. But no, Venus has been so good to me. I don't know. I like Venus. I know that she has her wild side. She has her ripper frickin', ripper clothes and fucking scream and
pull someone out of their car. Yeah, and on the highway. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
She's got it in her.
I'm kind of a secret. Well, this isn't a secret anymore, guys, but I'm a road rager. Okay. I might seem very, very calm and nice on the outside, but you get me behind the wheel and everybody's my fucking enemy and they're all going to hit me or something, so I'm always hyper aware, and I shit talk the entire time. I'll be like, get your Impala looking ass out of my way. And I'm working on it. But that's probably the extent of my it's probably more of a Mars thing. But
I think Venus has it in her too.
Absolutely.
Wear the
beard. She can get jealous. She can get upset. She can have especially, when it comes to relationships, we always hear the stories about people who lost their shit over, a fucking bad relationship that probably wasn't worth the fucking effort anyway, So, Venus has her her dark side, but I think for the
Definitely.
most part, she's like a lot like Jupiter, where, you know, she's pretty benefic. And, you know, I'm still trying to figure out Jupiter's like, I know every single planet has a dark side.
Yeah.
I know it. I just feel it. And Jupiter, he's been too good. I'm like, So I don't know. That's something I'm still like,
Okay. Well,
I'm still playing with that. I haven't really
maybe
discovered anything new, but
I maybe have some information for you as far as Jupiter goes. Is the bad stuff.
yeah.
So, and this goes for pretty much all of the gods back then in Mesopotamia. So this is going to be your Mars, who is Nergal or Era. It's also going to be, it can be Venus too. Like as we know, they all have their bad sides. But when it comes to when you get on their bad side, they could be very violent and wrathful. They could even be, what's that word? Sadistic a little bit when torturing their enemies and whatnot. So they all have those aspects. It was Enlil. So way back when, before Jupiter was Marduk, and Marduk was like some kind of like this, not really obscure deity, but he was definitely not the big, mega awesome savior deity that he became in Babylon. Enlil was embodied here in Jupiter. And he was a god of the winds and sky. And again, the Mesopotamian gods, the Anunnaki, as they are called, you guys, they were not aliens. Okay. Do not listen to the History Channel. They were very clearly personifications of nature. It says so right in their names. And we don't, okay. So I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, but Enlil means Lord of the winds or the sky or the ether, or basically all of the stuff between the supreme celestial god and the earth. There is a story where he acquires his consort, Ninlil, the lady of the sky and winds or whatnot, by a little bit of rape is the word that they use in the scholarly material. However, it comes to we come to find out in the story that her mom, Ninlil's mom, actually puts her up to this. She's like, go seduce Enlil. And we don't know if she's like, trying to, I don't want to say playing hard to get or something, but in the story, and again, it is only a story. He's not a real guy. They did not write these things, like the gods did not write. When they say God said to Adam or Moses or Jacob or whoever he's talking to, God didn't say these things to these people. Whoever wrote the story down or is telling the story claims that this is what God said. So keep this all in mind, okay? And so he forces himself upon Ninlil. And of course, they live happily ever after, and this is his consort and whatnot. So that's, I don't know that we could say that a negative Jupiter in your chart would make you on the rapey side, but we can see it being very, I'm going to get what I want no matter what, and I'm willing to hurt people if necessary. There's that, what do we call that? Overly dominant, domineering. What are some adjectives? You guys help me out. My brain's fried.
Oh my God. I just
did you see what I'm saying? There's this idea
I
of
see
like,
what you're saying. Yeah.
there's a word for it though. What is it? Somebody help. Fryer says ancient bedtime stories are harsh. Sleep well, kids. Yes.
Right? Well,
it's
there are
being
some asshole tendencies, like to be
overbearing. That's the
dogmatic
word. Why couldn't I think of it?
and
Overbearing.
To be controlling, I think.
Yes. And yes, controlling, yes, for sure. As he was the god of controlling the universe, essentially. But there was another, so in the Mesopotamian flood myths, it's usually Enlil who decides that humans are too noisy. They're not wicked. They're just making too much noise, and we must now destroy them. Once again, Enlil is not a real person. He is the personification of nature, and they needed an explanation to explain the deluge. So he's the one who orders the flood and all of that. So, there is, again, the sense of, well, you guys are pissing me off. I'm now going to destroy you. Jupiter does have that in there, but it's not a dominant trait. It definitely needs to be brought out during certain situations. It does come out. Niki, where'd you say your Jupiter is in your chart?
Oh, my Jupiter is conjunct Uranus in Scorpio, right on Antares.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. It's Tango and Cash.
Yeah.
They're fun. So,
if we're looking at Jupiter's negative aspects in relation to over there in Scorpio, while Scorpio herself was not a negative deity, she was Ishara of the ocean, very similar, if not an equivalent of Venus, who was Inanna Ishtar. But also the breast of the scorpion was this very benevolent goddess, the Lisi goddess, who could soothe the hearts of angry deities. And we've talked about this before. Your Jupiter, strong Antares in your chart, if you have one, you're gonna the crazies are gonna come out of the woodwork, and you're gonna be in a position to have to listen to these people and possibly help them on some level. It just depends on which planet and where your Antares is positioned. But going back to Scorpio, if we're looking at some of those traits, the scorpion was also a symbol of healing and also protection. The tail in particular was the mace of this figure over here, also featured in Saturn Ninurta. So scorpions could be very, as we can all imagine, very protective, defensive, and deadly when necessary. So your Jupiter being in there, you're probably not usually overbearing, but God help the person that you do, like, who does get on your bad side, because you could potentially do a lot of damage. And just based on this, I'm not saying like,
there's been times I'm like, oh, if I could just turn my hands into anvils and just drag it across time, I would wipe out your entire fucking lineage. There's been times I'm like, oh, I could just, good thing God didn't put me in charge of anything.
So you've got it in you.
Over. So yeah, you're right. Yeah, I guess that could be where it comes from.
It definitely could. Where's your Mars at?
Oh, my Mars is in Aries.
Mars isn't, at least in the Mesopotamian side of things, super vindictive. It's more reactive. It's more, oh, you hurt my feelings, you insulted me, you manipulated me. Now I'm gonna come after you, and you're gonna be sorry. Whereas
on the Pisces cusp, my Mars and Mercury are conjunct on the right on that Aries Pisces cusp. So, I try not to be too. I mean, I'm not a violent person at all.
Right.
But sometimes I
But you definitely think about it at times.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm not violent, but I fantasize very well. I'm very imaginative.
Oh my God, yes.
That's the Mercury-Mars conjunction. And it's in between, you said Aries and Pisces, or Aries and Taurus? Which side?
Aries and Pisces.
Yeah, that's going to be a good imagination on top of it all. So you can definitely come up with some, medieval torture techniques if you so choose.
I really wanted to join the military so bad.
It's probably best that you didn't.
It's really good that I didn't, actually. I was even in my where I was in my mid-30s, and I was like, "Ooh, I'm going to join the reserves." So I was like, I get good insurance, all that. And then then my neck got effed up, and I was like, "Oh, okay." Of course, anything I tried to get, and there was always something in the way. So I'm really grateful, because I'd probably be dead.
The universe was trying to spare you from murder, Niki.
Yeah.
And that's probably that old karmic stuff, right? We all have it.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, old karmic stuff.
I have it all the time. It's bizarre. I'll be like, I should go volunteer to fight in the war or something. I'm like, what? What is going on? Like, where is this coming from?
Exactly.
And I'll have I have these dreams where, so I was in the Air Force, for those of you who don't know. And I have these dreams all the time that I got back into the Air Force. I'm like, what am I doing here? What is going on? But it's like it won't leave you alone. It keeps trying to pull you back in and get sucked into it. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's got to be some South Node shit. Definitely.
Who is Ek Kaleo Green Bay? Just dropping in, so trying to catch up. I assume it's Green Bay. It's one of your peeps, right, Niki?
Yeah.
So hi, whoever this is.
I didn't pull any of that up yet. I'm really bad with technology, you guys. Okay.
What are we supposed to be pulling up and haven't?
the chat.
Oh, I have it up. I'm
The
keeping an eye on
live,
it.
and yeah, I sometimes I get so distracted. And one time I almost just closed everything out, so I was like really like the less stuff I have up, the better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sometimes
how
it's
did you
easier.
you know what, when Venus went through Scorpio, that was probably I felt like I personally was going on the Inanna journey through the underworld, and it was
When
freaking
was
deep.
this? When
And
did this happen?
this was around, oh God, when was she in there?
October? It was October, right?
Yeah,
Of last
October,
year.
November. That was around that time. That was a horrible time for me. And she wasn't even doing anything bad, you know? It
Well,
was
she would have
just
been crossing with your
wasn't
Jupiter. No, that's
well,
your conjunction. That's your change. That's your emotional relationship, close personal stuff change. That's when it's like all coming to the surface. It's when the festering wound needs to finally be lanced.
yeah, you said that. And I was like, no, for real. Yeah, it really was looking back now. So hopefully next year.
We had that cool comet going by too at that same time.
Yeah, we
I
did.
didn't get to see it. It was too low on the
I
horizon.
I didn't see it.
Me
You know, we don't
neither.
always get clear skies in Green Bay. You know,
I'm with you.
yeah, it's a lot of, I don't know. We have that northern weather. It's a little different. Yeah,
Does
so
what it
she spent
wants.
the entire year just hauling and not even going into retrograde. So, yeah, this is her first retrograde in a long time. Probably the first one I've ever really paid attention to. So I'm really curious. I'm really curious to see what kind of things are brought up, you know.
Ek Kaleo Green Bay says, can this explain why I uncharacteristically stood up in front of a couple of hundred people on Sunday? A silence and in under a minute was strongly encouraged out the door. And the unrelentingly called out the crap for 40 minutes, which broke the person. Yeah, that can do it for sure.
Oh, hell yeah.
Sure.
Well, even just Mercury moving closer to Saturn, and it like all of that Aquarian energy. It's in Aquarius. Aquarius is this energy that likes to stand up and speak for everybody. It doesn't matter race, nation, nothing. Like if there's a wrong, they're gonna point it out and in detail too. So it's a really good time to stand up and say, hey, no, we're not doing this anymore.
Better out than in.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, this whole these cycles leading up to now and this eclipse that we have coming is just all about embracing change and creating new change. Like it's not something that, you know, is just going to be handed to you either. You know, Jupiter is squaring this new moon. So, I mean, I think he's pretty cool. I don't think Jupiter is like any Jupiter squares are just challenges, just, that are kind of, I don't know, minor, I'd say, minor challenges. It's just going to make it uncomfortable, especially if, your future plans just feel like you're not getting it right now. Just going to require some patience this month.
What's Jupiter square with?
The new moon.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we can. Gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, it goes away. I mean, it dissipates.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a few, like, I don't know. I just don't see it as being a super hardcore big deal, you know? Uranus squares are a little bit more intense, I feel, but Jupiter squares just, I don't know, just be patient. Eventually, I think it pushes through, money, finance, whatever you're waiting on. Might be a little delay, minor delays, and maybe travel, education, stuff like that. But all minor stuff. Yeah. What else is going on? I know. Oh yeah, we talked about Mars. Oh,
yeah. I have loved Mars and Gemini.
Okay, tell us about your Mars and Gemini experience.
I don't know. I just got super mellow. I just felt so much inner peace. Like, I don't know. It just my inner peace went to a new level when Mars went retrograde into Gemini. So
do you think it's because is it like a Mars opposition for you? Because I think your Mars is in Sagittarius, right?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
it in? I don't know if it's in opposition.
It is in Sagittarius. I don't know if it's full opposition.
I don't know yet.
Yeah, I don't
I would have to take a
I'm eyeballing
take a
it.
look.
No, I don't specifically think it is, but I don't know that it matters too much. I mean, maybe it does, but I just liked it. And you said something. When did Mars go direct? Do you remember?
Oh God, it was just a few days ago.
Mars, when do you go
Yeah.
direct, buddy? Let's find
Like
out.
the 23rd or something like that.
No. Looks stationary-ish, right around. I mean, it's like kind of right now. So if you're out and you're looking, you probably still can't tell. Probably still can't tell. We have a really clear sky. Like we have a good view of the stars and stuff at night, and I've been watching these. You can tell when you go outside and look at Jupiter, you can actually see it now starting to move farther away from Aldebaran, but Mars is still kind of in the same spot. I don't know for sure, but I do know that I went back to daily meditation maybe like a week ago, and you had said that might have something to do with Mars either being stationary or getting ready to come out of retrograde or whatever, which is very possible. I just know I have felt very peaceful, and now I haven't had a tolerance for bullshit, we'll say. Okay, it's not been that type of peaceful where I'm just passive and letting everybody say and do whatever. I'm definitely summoning my inner thunder deity.
Your fire lady, yeah. Your fire
when that
lady.
happens, yeah. But otherwise, yeah, it's been great. So this is, a great example of the planets affect people differently. So if you're out there and you're like listening to a forecast of anybody's, I mean, if it's a tropical forecast, I can't help you. I don't know what you're doing. But if you're listening to a sidereal forecast and you're like, well, this doesn't necessarily resonate. There's a very good chance that it doesn't apply to you. Anytime we do something like this without actually looking at your natal chart, we have to be very, very general. We have to cover all 8 billion people on the planet, last I looked. Ek Kaleo Green Bay, it's hard to say. But just so you know, I'm trying my hardest to pronounce it correctly. Says exactly, I'm seeing sleeping people walking off a cliff, congratulating themselves on how well they appear to each other. And then lots of little vomit emojis.
Yeah.
I'm usually the silly weird guy. I'm a hammer all of a sudden. Yeah, it probably does have something to do with that Mars. Or I guess it could be the Venus retrograde, but it could be the Mars too.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be, or you could have like some type of Uranus contact where you're just done. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different factors, I guess. You're absolutely right. I'm just throwing guesses out there now. So.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, I know. Actually, I did notice when that was one thing that I did get is my A+ bitch rating, my bitch factor. Like I'm more willing to point shit out now and say, no, like that's messed up, or, I'm trying I really do try, guys, to be absolutely polite and nice. But I haven't been. I've been a little sharp. And I've been trying not to, but sometimes it stands, sometimes it's necessary in order to assert your boundaries. You got to drop an F-bomb once in a while.
Yes.
It's just the way it is.
Yes.
I love my F-bombs.
I was just thinking about that the other day. What a great word. What a wonderful word. I know some people get very upset and offended by it. I like the sound of it. It starts, it flows off the lip. Yep. And then it ends in that very abrupt sound. And it's like a power word.
It is. You know what it reminds me of? Back in the before times, before we had cell phones, when you could hang the phone up.
Yeah, exactly.
It just gives you that finality, like, love it.
Slam it right down or right into the wall.
Yeah.
Yes. If you don't know, you guys, if you don't remember, phones used to hang right up on the wall. You would have to hang it up, and you had a cord that was attached to it.
Yeah. And there was always somebody waiting to get on the phone or waiting for a call. Somebody was going to strangle you with that cord. Yeah.
That happened plenty of times. A lot of people are in jail because of strangling someone with the phone cord. That is correct.
Yeah.
Times.
Can you imagine getting let out 25 years later? They're like, oh, I can't strangle anybody with this thing. Fuck.
Yeah. Gotta bludgeon them with your tiny phone. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. What were we talking about? I totally forgot.
Rage-induced, astrology-induced rage. Yes, that was the one.
Yeah, it happens. It does. It happens. But you know what? The nodes, okay? I don't talk about the moon's nodes all the time, but they're going to be changing signs pretty soon. And we got this eclipse. So this could be like, more emotional patterns that have been built up over time that just need releasing. Our south node has been in Virgo for a really long time. And I know for me personally, it's kind of brought up a lot of like almost this failure to let go of old habits, old routines, old stuff. I've been trying to apply the way I've been doing things to, the old ways to these new things that are coming into my life. And I realized like the old ways aren't working. They're never it's time to let go of everything that hasn't been working when it comes to like my daily routines, my general way that I live. Even just like karmic connections, like deep connections I've had that I've just had to let go of because they were just suffocating and just god awful to deal with. It just becomes unbearable. So I mean, I think that you're releasing a lot of your anger, releasing a lot of things. I mean, it's about that. I would assume. I'm not an eclipse expert. I've had some pretty pleasant eclipses in like the past year or two. But it has always led to some type of deeper change, some type of upheaval, or I end up finding out some
The eclipses do
crazy information. Yeah. I've been trying to I don't know, follow it a little bit. So this last big eclipse, solar eclipse was on my birthday.
What day was that?
It was April 8th.
Of last year?
Yeah, of last year.
Oh, the big one where everybody
the big one
stuff?
was right on my natal sun and everything. Okay. Almost to just a few degrees off. And I just thought, what a crazy, amazing time. And it wasn't. I actually had a really good day.
We were like, it wasn't?
Well, it was. I thought everything was amazing and wonderful. And then I had a big wake up call after that. So, but it took a couple of months, and it wasn't until the closing eclipse in October that I was like, man, if I have to live another fucking year like this, I think I'll go insane. So I had to make some changes.
The stuff got to lance the wound,
Yeah. Sometimes you got to just say, hey, enough's enough. I'm not doing this anymore. And that has been the best feeling in the world. Just chuck it in the fucking bucket and just be done. And I used to wake up just feeling awful every day. And now I wake up like I fucking just lifted 1,000 pounds off my shoulders and I could just float around. Happy.
Yeah, that's a great feeling.
Yeah, and I think a lot more people need to choose themselves and choose, make different choices because the universe just isn't going to serve it up to you on a silver platter. I mean, I think I was waiting for that for way too long. The change will come, it'll just come. You have to work for it. You have to make the changes. And it's going to probably be stuff you don't want to do. It's probably going to hurt your, people's feelings and it's probably not be the best. And, but you got to do what's good for you. The universe, I feel with these cycles and all of the, the moon's nodes being square, the galactic center and the gates. I mean, we are living in we're being realigned, we're living in some time, karmic times where we're being realigned to fulfill our destinies, our karmic destinies, not just about that. It's not what it's required, but what does your soul want? Where are you being called to go? And are you doing doing the things you need to do to get there? Or are you self-sabotaging? Are you holding yourself back? I mean, you could apply this to any cycle, but it's particularly important, I think, in these times because you can see the change happening in the world all over the place. Everything is changing and you're going to either adjust or you're going to should not be feeling really good, you know, when all of these changes are hitting and settling in. You know, we did talk about Saturn and Neptune and the North Node meeting, you know, and they don't actually conjunct Saturn and Neptune. They, like this year, I think it's next year, they actually touch because of, well, no, you know what I
mean? I'd call them conjunct. Wait, no, hold on.
I got enough, I swear.
I got Neptune over here. Listen, don't listen. I could not think of the number 4 month, whatever. What is it? April? Still, I'm like, is that one? Is that the one?
Yeah, that's April.
It is. It does happen this year. But I would say they're already pretty conjunct. So what do we get? It looks like they hit conjunct, and as soon as they do like the most precise minute, then Saturn looks like it's going retrograde again.
Yeah, so, that's kind of
that's probably what's going on.
Yeah.
That's actually really intense too.
It is.
I think, listen, you guys, I think that's a good thing. I think a Saturn-Neptune conjunction is good. I'm going to put that out there. Go out on a limb.
I'm just curious to see the changes. I'm not sure if it's good or bad yet. I don't want to label anything yet.
Well, it all comes with good and bad, of course. But I think always does. Lasting results will be positive.
No, I think, yeah, absolutely. We've survived these before.
Yeah.
I think we are going to see, though, a different world after this, you know. It's kind of cool. Cool. But it's scary for a lot of people because they just don't see the bigger picture, possibly. Maybe they're just super uber focused on what's going on in their own little worlds and their bubbles and what they perceive is actually going on. I try to keep an open mind when it comes to what's going on politically, what's going on in the world. You know, what the news is telling me, we know it's just the big propaganda machine. I mean, how many times have they lied to us? Oh my God.
Yeah, you know? they're in the business for that.
They're in the business of making you afraid and making you very scared. So you're going to continue to consume. You're going to continue to make yourself sick. And the cycle just continues. I am so anti news, establishment news. So I
can't believe people well, I mean, a lot of people don't watch it. It's dying. It's a dying medium.
It is. But I mean, then you're getting your information from other clips and stuff. Because I was like, okay, I'll go on YouTube and I'll see what they're doing. And you got to find some independent journalists. It's totally doable. They're out there. But you do have to, you know, use discretion. Absolutely.
This is really interesting. I know we're like a month out from now, but this March 28th-ish is when we kind of start to get it. And as the moon moves through here, we have Mercury, which you can't really see because it's retrograde. The sun, moon, right around the new moon, Neptune, Saturn, Venus, all right smack in the same place in the sky. That'll be interesting. Got any predictions for that since we're looking at it?
Oh my God. Do I have any predictions for that?
I know. I'm like,
I know. Well, my birthday's not too far away from that. So I have like a really killer solar return chart.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that'll be intense.
All clustered in there. You know, with Pisces, it's flexible. You know, it's a sign that kind of can, I don't want to call it a chameleon sign, but I mean, it can go with the flow. And I don't know. I see it could definitely turn into endings and new beginnings. It can definitely be a really creative time too. You know, when it comes to Pisces, it's, you know, it's a lot of reflection. You know, there's a lot going on in Pisces. I even read in one book, oh my God, I think it was, what book was it? It was like one of Isabella Hickey's books, and she called Pisces like the dustpan of the zodiac because it's where we kind of purge and deal with all of our shit in Pisces, something along those lines. So it's wrapping it up. I think if you haven't taken the initiative to make changes now and be prepared now, because Saturn wanted you to be prepared before he even entered into Pisces. Saturn is usually doing something to prepare you for whatever changes are coming before he enters a sign. So if you haven't gotten the hint then, you're definitely going to get it. Definitely going to get it at the end of, you know, May. Yeah. I'm like, what's March? No. Yeah, March. Sorry. I was like, what's number 3?
Yeah, see? It happens. It's a real thing.
Yeah, it's contagious. So yeah, I think it's definitely, I think you're going to see a lot of connections, a lot of, you know, like karmic connections. Like you're definitely going to be brought to the people that you need. You're going to be brought to the situations that you need. I recall when Saturn was in Pisces last, I was kind of in a nomadic phase. I mean, I was wandering around. Oh God, that was like the 90s.
Was that? Here, let's
see. That was, I swear to God, it was the 90s.
I believe you. I don't know, but I believe you.
Yeah, because when Saturn moved into Pisces,
95 to
I dealt with a lot of change. My parents got divorced. It was a horrible ending. We had tons of like terrible things going on in our family, and then finally dissolved as Saturn was moving into Pisces. And then I moved a bunch of times, and by the time Saturn hit the end of Pisces, I had met my, you know, spouse and started a family. So it was definitely a huge, crazy journey. It
was an interesting time period, I think, for the world overall. So don't think it, you know, it wasn't just you, for sure. There was a lot.
Oh yeah, it was definitely crazy. But I spent a lot of that time wandering around. I was a party animal. I met all sorts of different groups of people. I hung out with all sorts of different people from everywhere. I mean, I even had like a biker gang I hung out with for a summer. It was fun.
Like I had my own biker gang, like you had started one.
Oh my God. You would have thought. I don't even know how I got involved with all these people. Like, but I'd be riding on the back of bikes and having fun, made some connections, you know. So when I moved, I had more connections, you know. So I love partying. Well, I did. I loved partying. I loved having fun. It was my social time. So I was really social. I had a lot of fun in Pisces when Saturn was in Pisces. So I don't know. I'm kind of curious to see what happens this time around, because, you know, honestly, it was a really dark time too. I mean, I dealt with a lot of really horrible emotions. But at the time too, you got to think about your age, and it's just kind of natural to be going through all of that. Yeah. Teenage angst and all of that shit, you know, pretty prevalent. And it being in Pisces, probably like even more, you know, seems like it's even more like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, I don't know. Like it's more important than what it really is.
Yeah. There's a deeper spiritual significance to all of it.
Yeah, there really is. There really is. I had a lot of crazy things. I almost died a few times. So yeah, definitely had more of a wild time in the 90s. I think it's going to be a lot more tame this time around.
Probably.
I'm going to guess. I got a lot more experience.
Intrigued about the Saturn-Neptune conjunction that's coming up. Now, I think that's going to be more societal than anything, because they're both so slow moving, but it'll be interesting to see, you know, is that when Skynet becomes self-aware? Who knows? It could happen.
Oh my God. You loved the movie Terminator too. I really thought it was going to happen when I was a kid. I was like, I still.
Like, Nikki, it is.
Linda Hamilton arms. I'm like, where's the bulge? Come on.
Yes, we all need Linda Hamilton arms. And this is a very real possibility. It's not science fiction. Like, that is a real thing. I mean, they have videos all over the internet of the like little Terminator dogs with machine guns for heads. So it's definitely.
I know they even have like machines like self-terminating, because they're like, oh my God, I don't have a purpose in life. If this is my purpose to just do this repeated menial like work, they'll just shut down and be like, okay, life sucks, we're done. Like, that's kind of scary. So like all the AI is going to do the art and the fun stuff and like.
Oh, it sucks so bad at it though. I mean, not for some. I mean, there are there's good AI that is very pricey and outside of the reach of the normal person, obviously, but eventually that's what will happen for sure. Yeah. But I think as that happens, there is going to be more of a, what do we call that? What's that called, Nikki? A desire, a mark. There's a bigger market for original artwork at that point, and
definitely
like real human stuff that people want to be a part of.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think a lot of people want to get away from technology, actually. I know personally, I just don't want to be glued to it. I want to use it. I don't want it to use me.
Right.
And I got to the point in my life where it was using me. And I was just a slave, always like checking my phone. And I mean, I don't want to live like that. I miss the before times when we didn't have to be glued to our phones 24/7. And I'm really grateful because I don't have a job. I realigned my life where I don't have to be glued to my phone 24/7. I'm not, in the salon booking clients and having to make sure I fill every single moment of my day up with something to do. But you can relate nice? Because yes. Throw the calendar away. Man, I don't even know what day it is sometimes.
Yes, that's great.
I love that. But I used to plan ahead all the time. I have to know like what was going on. I was always booked out at least 2 months ahead of time. So, I mean, I had to know. And now I don't. And it's beautiful. It's wonderful. Some people have it, and they can handle it and they can handle their shit with technology. I'm not one of them. I'm one of those, like, I love to overdo it on everything. Like once I get into it, I'm like, oh, this is fucking it. I love it. And I get so into it. Like astrology, man. Like it drove my family nuts. And it wasn't until now. Now they're like, oh, hey, can you look at my chart? But I mean, they were like, you're nuts. You're crazy. I can't believe you're into this. Like it just drove them nuts. And they didn't want to hear about it. And I'm like, guys, this is like the coolest shit ever. And no, I'm still obsessed. That's one thing I just I'll never let go of this. Like I love astrology.
No, it's one of those things like once you see the patterns, you can't unsee them, and you start to see it in everything, and it becomes very, very clear to you. So yeah.
I like learning a secret, and you can't ever like go back to the way things were.
Yeah.
That's why I don't understand folks and the tropical like thing, because in ancient times they didn't have a tropical system, okay? And everybody accepted it. It was widely accepted. It was widely used. There's a reason why nobody accepts it right now, because it's not real. Like when you use tropical, it's based off some arbitrary point in the sky.
Yeah.
2,000 years ago, because Jesus invented astrology or something. I don't know what the fucking excuse is. But I'm almost positive it had something to do with, the church and all of that. I mean,
I don't think it did.
You don't think it did? What do you think? Because I haven't really researched it. I've only ever heard other people's opinions on it. I never really like looked to see, well, what went wrong there?
Why they just started using it and just didn't stop using it?
Yeah. Like, were they hiding? I mean,
no. I wish it was sinister, because that would make at least some sense. Like it was a concerted effort to try to hide some ancient wisdom. Yeah. No, I really think that it was just people, the Greeks were using it, and they just continued to use it, and they created their rigid. Now, again, I know I get really hard on the Greeks, you guys, and their classical, the elements and the modalities and the what have you, but they had a very rigid way of looking at the world. It was and so it's not surprising that they would just pick a point, because even at the time they were being introduced to astrology, the sun was not at 0 degrees of Aries. So somewhere, and I cannot pinpoint the exact time. Nobody, I don't think, can. Like, I can't find the textual source that says, okay, here is when we're gonna like just make this decision to just do 0 degrees of Aries is the vernal point, end all be all. I suspect it was a progression over time, but it couldn't have happened more than like 300 CE. And it's just people stopped asking questions. That's, I think, the biggest thing. Nobody was like, well, why aren't we just using the actual placement? And early on, as you well know, there wouldn't have been that much of a difference in the sky between what they were using. But like 1,000 years in, we're already pretty far away from 0 degrees of Aries. So I think by then the tradition was just kind of already in place. Now, again, I'm hammering this home and like blaming the Greeks, but there was Arabian astrology. Vedic astrology was kind of getting started, although that really didn't take off until the Middle Ages. So I don't know. I don't think it was intentional. I don't think the church cared enough to do anything about it either. I can blame them for a lot of things, but I don't think I can give credit for that one.
I don't know, man. When I looked and I was like, I have to do math to do astrology, that doesn't seem right.
No.
I don't want to do math. I don't want to calculate a chart.
Not if you don't have
Why wouldn't
to.
I just look there? Like, I never got it. I didn't understand it because I didn't know there were different techniques, different practices. Not like, there were a lot of bookstores in the sticks in the 90s,
Right.
And like, not like a lot of them even told you anything that was astronomy related anyway. So I don't know. I love marrying astronomy and astrology. They just need to be together and it works. Like,
yes.
The readings I've done, I've gotten a lot of positive feedback, and I've never heard, well, that doesn't track. That's not it. Oh, okay. So I think if I was using tropical, I'd probably hear like a lot of that's half true. Because that's what I've tested it. I 15 years of doing hair, asking people questions and wondering like, well, why the hell are all these Scorpios so like don't have, I was expecting to hear like sassy sex lives and cool shit, and they're just, because they're all Virgos. They're all working hard, taking care of their families, just being good little boys and girls.
Yeah.
Not as wild, not as I don't know. Not like every Scorpio's got some wild, awesome sex life. We know that's not true. There's been some,
right.
I've met some pretty boring ass Scorpios in my life too, but I'm sure they have like a good, like exciting internal life. Just not my cup of tea. But you can't categorize somebody by their sun sign and be like, oh, all Scorpios are like this, or all Virgos are like this. That's just not.
And that leads to people thinking astrology sucks too, because they're over there thinking like, I'm a really complicated person, and you just like tried to sum me up in one tiny thing, and that's a reductionist way of looking at a human being, and it sucks. It can make things not so great.
Yeah. I guess it's like what we identify with, the sun, but in our emotional nature, the moon sign would probably be better.
Yeah, I like going with the moon
to share with somebody like, oh, how do you?
The ascendant's definitely the way to go, but you can't just know that without looking at something. I mean, I guess somebody out there can, but I couldn't. I'd have to look.
I would have to look. I know we were talking about that. I think in the meditation call, we were talking about like how to figure out what the ascendant is in a person who doesn't have their time.
You can't really. You have to. Well, you can rectify the chart.
Yeah.
I got some. Go ahead.
Well, I was on. I go on Instagram sometimes, and I think if I use anything, it's Instagram. I love all the girly girls on there. There's so many awesome astrologers. I mean, I'm trying not to be addicted to it, but one astrologer, she had made a post, and it was about how another astrologer had done a reading for either her or one of her clients and told them that because of their Mars placement, they were bad in bed. Yeah. And she was like, can you imagine? And then she told me a bunch of other things that she was told that
Where was her Mars?
that's what I wanted to know. She never fucking answered me because I was like, well, where is it?
Yeah, I want to know. You know, that's not I'm sure there's a way to tell in the chart, but that's not one of the things that I'm willing to ask people about. And at least half will lie to you. You know, at least 25% are going to be offended that you're even asking.
Yeah.
So I don't know that you'd really have to do a serious study to be able to pin that down.
And I totally think that's ballsy to say to somebody, like,
It
oh,
definitely
according to this, your Mars looks like you're bad in bed.
Yeah.
Who says that shit? Oh,
I don't know. They're
I
out there.
I wish I knew. I should have asked more questions, but it was late at night and I was scrolling. I'm like, no fucking way. And
They're out there.
Yeah. Apparently.
Speaking of crazy stuff on the internet, I've pulled up some clips. I swear I grabbed a clip about some guy telling how he found this cosmic reason why the tropical zodiac's actually correct. Like it was a brand new, wonderful, amazing justification for it. I'll see if I can dig it out, but we'll go.
Oh my God, yeah. I love that.
I don't know. We'll have to test the sound on these, you guys. Again, I'm new at this, so we'll see how it goes. All right, Nikki, we're getting your reaction, so that's what we're doing.
Oh, okay.
It allows for us to grab the power of a wish fulfillment star scat and be.
Okay, hold on. I just have to say, does she know what scat means?
Isn't that shit?
Yeah, it is. She's talking about grabbing. Okay, this was from for this new moon. It just got posted, and as soon as it came, I was gonna let the whole thing play, and I just can't because I don't know if she knows what scat means. She's talking about feces, like solar or celestial feces. So, all right, I'll shut up. Let me see if I can rewind it. Try again. Because it's a beautiful month, a beautiful new moon with star scat. Yeah.
This is a beautiful new moon that allows for us to grab the power of a wish fulfillment star scat and be able to manifest something in the 6 months that follows the seed planting of this Pisces new moon that's going to occur on the 9th degree of Pisces, which is a magical degree. And it is going to happen in our lives, this particular moon, on 27th of February. However, it also bodes unwell, perhaps for water events, particularly tsunamis and earthquakes that could occur within the first 2 weeks after this lunation. This
Yes. The moon is not
the believe, right?
Yes, we're just using our imaginations. We're making stuff up. The new moon is not in Pisces. Now we could say that there's still like watery associations, sure. But I would say if we're gonna get any earthquakes out of it, it will probably be because of the eclipse that comes in actual Pisces next month, but not now. Not now.
Yeah, that's okay. That's definitely make believe.
Yes, it is. That is imagination. I grabbed these in the I don't know what we have up here, just so you know. Like I grabbed these and I don't know what we're getting ourselves into. So let's see. Let's do our favorite guy, my favorite guy, Jaggi Vasudev. If you guys don't know, Sadhguru is trending right now on X because some emails came out and apparently he was requiring it's an accusation. It has not been proven yet, but there's pretty good evidence that he was making little girls receive diksha, which is initiation by a guru, without their shirts on. So yes, he's
so it's kind of like some Dalai Lama shit, basically.
Oh, that was creepy, that thing he did.
Yeah, and people still follow him, and they're still like,
so creepy. He's a CIA plant, but
I know. I really never wanted to. I was angry.
Oh, so creepy, so creepy.
Very angry.
I'm sure Jaggi's got a good reason why girls shouldn't wear their shirts when they're receiving initiation. I'm sure there's some sort of justification. So, and I'm being absolutely sarcastic, just so everybody knows. Here we go. Let's see what he's got to say. I think it's about astrology. Yeah, I think this is an astrology thing.
So if you do not take life into your hands,
His thing, I know I'm already stopping the video. His thing is he talks in circles, and he's like fortune cookie level of knowledge and wisdom that he provides people. And people are like, oh my God, that was so profound. Like my life is
Cookie. I love that.
yeah, it's like straight out of a fortune cookie.
then planets will decide what should happen to you to some extent. But if you take life into your hands, planets cannot decide. You must know this, the best astrologers in the world, in the country at least, if you tell them I'm on a spiritual path, they will say, no, we won't make predictions for you because you have taken life into your hands. We can't make predictions for someone who's taken life into their hands.
Nikki, is that not what we ask people to do with astrology, is take their life into their own hands and like use
Absolutely.
astrology as the tool?
Absolutely. And we don't have forever clients, okay? We teach them about their chart and themselves and how they can follow along with it and how these energies are going to affect them. That it is like taking charge of your own life. And
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Okay, this guy's funny.
Yeah. Oh,
I think he's just happy everybody's staring at him and listening
He
to him. I really
worth
just
like $100 million last I checked, but maybe it's up to like 200. He drives a Mercedes, wears like $1,000 watches.
he's a Joel Osteen. Yeah.
Yeah.
$1,000 sandals.
Yep, that's him.
Good.
So if you…
Oh, that was it. Okay, let's see what else we got in here.
Oh, I love those types. You know, sometimes I wonder if it's like their first life here, and like that's how like we trick people into coming to Earth. Like you want to come to Earth, and they're like, yeah, I want to be rich and famous, and sometimes I wonder.
Well, I don't have a problem with rich people for sure.
No, not at
know a lot of
all. I don't either.
mega rich people who are awesome human beings, and they go to like South America and they build villages.
You never see them on the news. You never.
Yeah,
hear
you
them.
never. Yeah, that's right. You never see those people. They're not talking at UNESCO, and they're not like giving TED Talks and stuff. They're like actually.
They don't need to brag about the good shit that they've done. They don't need to brag about it.
Yeah, he's Jagi Vasudev. I'm not even going to call him Sadhguru. That's an insult to Sadhgurus and regular gurus everywhere. But he's definitely, you know, just one jar.
He's a silly goose.
Yeah, I was going to say Jim Jones, but yeah, silly goose. That's a nice way to put it too.
Silly goose.
Prediction I made last year above all other predictions. I say pigs were going down in a snake year. The best one is when I said short Tesla. How many times did I say short Tesla after January 29, 2025? Because that's when the snake year starts. Elon Musk, a piece of freaking garbage who suspended me off Twitter for absolutely nothing.
He sounds really upset about that. He sounds very upset.
He does, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yes.
He took it personally.
Yeah, he definitely did.
Freaking percent already. It's 1 month into the snake year. Elon Musk's down $170 billion. That is one of the biggest losses by a human being in such a short time span in human history. Elon.
I feel like Mark Zuckerberg lost like 40 billion in one day or something. Didn't that happen?
When he went when Facebook he put it on the stock market something, it went.
Yeah, he lost like the most money ever. So I don't think
There
this
was that
comes-
stock market thing. I remember that.
Yeah, I don't think this comes close to that, but okay, you know, he's clearly pissed.
Hold on, I want you to know this. You will be removed from the Trump administration. This is what happens in people's enemy years. They got humbled. Anyways, Gary was right again. Elon's taking those L's. The one.
Okay, so he does clearly Chinese astrology where he's doing the pig versus the snake or whatever's going on. That I know nothing about it.
So is that like a square? That's got to be like a square.
No, it's the like this is the year of the snake. So if you were born in the year of the pig, it's like a bad year for you or whatever. I can't.
I
don't know.
Water bore. Like this last year of the pig. That's what this was. Because
Was it? Yeah, that sounds right. Or no, last year was the dragon year. This is the snake year. Wasn't last year the dragon?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because I remember that. He said it. What the hell did he say? I don't know if he's.
I don't know. I just know he doesn't like Elon Musk. He's very upset. But
Hates
what I will
him.
say is, you can't. Yeah, he might be down 170 billion in the first year, but some radical changes are happening all over the world, and he's a big part of those changes. Which means it's only 1 month in. Like he could totally bounce back. He could double that in the next couple of months. So I think it's a little premature to brag and tell him that you.
I'm not a huge Elon Musk fan. I don't really know a whole lot about him other than that he's like, I don't know, he's got like children all over the place and
Yeah, he
grew up
likes
in a
to
diamond
procreate.
mine and is just got a really hot mom. I mean, I don't fucking know. She's
Yeah.
a supermodel, isn't she?
His mom?
Yeah.
I don't
swear
know.
to God, she's fucking gorgeous. Like, she's
Oh.
yeah.
I believe you.
Yeah, I don't know. That's all I know, really.
Okay.
I don't know. I kind of was following politics a little bit. I watched the news, and like everyone's pissed off about Elon being involved with all of these firings and all of this stuff going on. And I'm just kind of laughing because to me, it just seems like it's kind of like, hey, I've been working with the government for like over 12 years with these contracts, and I know where the waste is and where it's not. And
Right.
it could be vindictive. But it's, to me, it's just kind of like, I
Having
don't know.
previously been a government employee
Yeah.
and worked with other government employees, there's
I think-
definitely a lot of waste that goes on. That doesn't mean everybody should get fired, and like definitely
No, there's a lot.
I'm just saying,
it's a
but
lot
you're-
deeper than what I saw. on the
Yeah,
surface
yeah,
of it. I know it is, but I was like, oh, this is like some middle school shit. I was like,
Yep.
he said this, they did that, and now it's a big fight. So.
Well, let's see what Joni has to say about the February 26th.
Joni, that's
Yeah.
Fry's favorite astrologer. Yeah. What does Joni have to say?
I don't know. Let's see.
So now I am looking at February 26th. This is a Wednesday around 3:30 p.m.
That's now, just for anybody watching.
Central Standard Time. The moon is still in Capricorn. It's in late degree Capricorn around 3:30 p.m. And it's in the nakshatra called Dhanishta. Dhanishta's symbol is a drum or a flute. It's a hollowed out instrument. Deals with timing. And so it tells me that this is a day of great timing. Listen to your gut. If it tells you to go to the coffee shop, do it. You never know who you're going to meet. It's about being at the right place at the right time. And it deals with the rhythm. It's maybe a day to take that dancing class because it's still a day to be creative. And rhythm and sound and music, listen to your favorite music, listen to your songs, move yourself creatively and emotionally. So now
Well, I think that's generally good advice for any good day. And I respect that she's putting out daily content because God knows there's no way you would catch me making at least one new short every single day.
She looks fabulous today.
Yeah, her eyelashes look awesome.
I know. I was just looking at her wings. I'm like, damn, girl, she's got I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, go Joni.
I'm not sure though. I
can't
can't
pick that for the moon being in Capricorn.
it's not still in
The
Capricorn.
music
though.
stuff. I mean,
We're 2 days away for the end. It's basically the end of Aquarius is where the new moon is. It's still, I guess it could be at the tail end of Aquarius. I don't know. I don't remember now. So
yeah.
it wasn't,
I don't know
it wasn't,
either.
like terrible advice or anything. So I can't.
No, it wasn't actually. I like that. I like that. You can apply that, but that was more like I don't know, more like a Mercury
That's
thing.
good. Okay.
Something that looks like it has been sliding into the ocean. So they found this thing that looked like a crashed UFO or looked like an artificial structure outside the Swedish coast. They found that it was covered in burned biological material, which is really weird because we don't have volcanic activity in that area. We need the actual physical proof, and I don't think any government is willing to release that. But the scientists claimed it was just a rock, never studied the actual samples, and there's no paper and no open data. There's just a claim to the media by those scientists, and I'm just like, way of analyzing something.
Wow.
So there are no samples of that object because it was so hard, so they couldn't get a piece out of it. So I still think it's something that should be analyzed because it might be possibly the best candidate and non-human artifact that you can find.
Wow.
And I really believe that we need
to seriously study this kind of objects.
Yeah, she's definitely right. Why don't they first of all, they should tell people where it's at the very least, and then let people go and check it out. You've heard about that thing, right?
No, I haven't actually.
Oh, that's like your first time? Yeah, that was a few years back.
First time.
It was a while back they found it. And supposedly somebody went down and said it's just a rock or something, but they're really hush-hush on like where the location is, so people can't just go see it for themselves, which is weird by itself. So
yeah,
shady.
Yeah, that reminds me of the Mars stuff. Remember, like back in the late 90s when all the pictures came back about Mars, and the Pentagon and the face and all that, and now it's just all been disproven. They're like, oh, that's not real. That was never there.
Yeah, but did you see that picture that just came out of Mars the other day?
No.
All of a sudden, so like for years they've been giving us these orange pictures of the red planet. Well, turns out they've been faking that. They've been putting the red filters over it, and they just released a normal looking image, and it just looks like Earth, but not quite as blue of a sky. So, and they've been caught faking those videos, like the one they have a picture and there's like clearly a fly on the rover, and then like there's another one where you can see there's a lemming, right in the, it like looks like a little ball of dirt, but when you zoom in, it's clearly a rodent. As a rodent connoisseur, I can assure you. Now, I'm not saying that they don't have real pictures from Mars, but they definitely fake the pictures too. Before we keep going, I don't know how you say your. My birthday is on March 28th, so my solar return is going to be intense. It looks like yes, it is.
Yeah.
I plan on selling my home, moving across the country in April, so hopefully it is good for that. Well, it'll be a good time. Might as well get out of the way. Make it happen.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so that's why nobody trusts NASA. That's why people think the Earth is flat right now, because you guys have lied so many times that we're willing to believe just the silliest things.
Oh my God.
Not so
I'm
much
so gullible. I believe everything they say. I'm like, all the pictures. And then when you said no, like even the moon land, I was like, no, this isn't fucking.
Yeah, I don't think they went to the moon. I really don't. I mean, they've been to the moon. I don't think people walked on the moon.
Actually.
Okay.
I mean,
I'm
bummed about that. But,
I mean, there was reason why they would fake something like that.
Yeah. Well, I grew up watching Star Trek, man.
Next
Generation. I was like, all about that shit. And yeah, they're letting me down now.
Yes, the government is a letdown for sure. All right, this is from our good buddy over at Archaics. I'm not sure what we're going to watch here. It's
a little
bit long. I'm going to speed it up.
Over 270 years ago, in the 1750s.
It's got a very dramatic voice that we're using here.
1750s.
A historian named John Goodridge of England developed an intriguing theory. This lost book was found by Dane Mahar and sent to me. Goodridge published his research in the year 1781, and the title will go down as one of the longest book titles in history. The Phoenix, an essay being an attempt to prove from history and astronomical calculations that the comet at the fall and at the deluge is the real phoenix of the ancients. Collecting his information from the libraries of 3 centuries ago, Goodridge concluded that the phoenix of the ancients was an astronomical body.
Okay, so here's a great example of why this is not something to base all of your theories on. As he just said, the guy who wrote this book was using information from the previous 3 centuries and whatever was available in the library. That's a tiny little fraction of the information. And as Nikki would tell you guys out there, that does not include all of the knowledge that has been hidden in the Vatican, right? So he's got a very limited data set to work with.
It visited at the beginning of antediluvian history and caused the fall of man. The Phoenix revisited 3 times during the pre-flood world, and on the 3rd visitation, it caused the great flood of Noah. Noah and his family preserved the knowledge of the Phoenix, passing it down to later generations that over time lost its true meaning. Goodridge wrote,
not to go down the rabbit hole, but again, Noah is not a real guy. Okay, he is a for sure fictional character. We know this. I mean, there were many Noahs. The Indians had one, you know, the Sumerians, the Assyrians, the Babylonians, they all had a Noah figure. So he's a stand-in, you know, he's a representation of mankind during the time of this deluge. He's probably not a real guy. And there is some evidence that some of these biblical figures in particular, like Abraham and Isaac and a lot of the biblical prophets and whatnot, were actually kind of based loosely on some of the Greek epic poems and whatnot. So, but I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole today, but I'm just throwing this out here that we should not be using. Yeah, like you can't really use the Bible, like just, you know, these characters, or even if you want to use them archetypes or whatever to date things, you need more evidence than that, but that's just me.
His book is a warning to future generations of the return of the Phoenix. The Phoenix will bring the final consummation of all things. This stunning theory in archaics had been proven by innumerable archives of data. Goodridge used old books to construct his theory. Archaics research is based off of research from old books and made the same discoveries completely independent of Goodridge.
Yeah, so I don't know why he's talking about archaics as like it's a religious organization or something. It sounds like he's trying to, you know, become his own cult leader. At least that's the impression that I get. But
well, I've looked at old books and some of them are just so full of shit. I mean,
yeah, they didn't have the internet. They had a very small pool of resources to get their information from.
Oh.
Ridge. The Phoenix in 3895 BC caused the Genesis reset, and 1656 years later, or 3 Phoenix periods of 552 years each, Phoenix returned to cause the Great Flood of 2239 BC.
Okay, so he's saying that the flood of Noah happened in, I can't see, it's too little on my screen, but not that long ago. And also, according to this, he's saying this comet circled by during these time periods and caused these problems. The Babylonians, their predecessors, the Akkadians, the Sumerians, they kept detailed astronomical records, which is how we can date a lot of things in their history. They don't have records of that. They do have tales of comets or possibly planets swinging too close to the Earth and causing a ruckus, deluges, global cataclysms. That's absolutely true. But to try to pin these dates on them is quite silly.
Phoenix returns in 2040, and Goodridge was shockingly correct about Phoenix causing the final consummation, for it returns in 2178.
Oh, fucking Christ.
A number of archaic
Sorry.
total systemic reset. The Phoenix is the true machinery hidden in the sky.
Yeah, so his whole thing is that we're living in a matrix, and this Phoenix something, there's something called what he calls a Phoenix reset, and that society basically collapses during these periods and then restarts from scratch. And it's every, 128 years, or I don't know, something goofy like that. That's easy to debunk. We debunked it a couple of videos ago, so I won't go back into it too much, but it's just pretty silly. And I just want you guys out there who follow archaics to know how very silly that it is. So, yeah.
Yeah. It's the fact that there's just this big event. There's this thing, you know, like, I'm sorry, but it's a bunch of things.
Yeah.
You know, it's not, we're not waiting for the big thing. Okay.
Well, that's, it's that whole, we're waiting for the end of the world, apparently, still.
Ugh, yeah.
Thanks,
you're going to be waiting
Judaism.
a long time.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what AJ's got for us. Not sure if anybody out there is a Y-Files fan, but here we go.
When it comes to exorcisms, the facts are stranger than fiction and deadlier. In 2005, a nun was chained to a large crucifix for a 3-day exorcism. It didn't go well, and she was taken to the hospital where she died. The Vatican has downplayed exorcisms for decades, but now the church has confessed to a significant increase in them. In 2018, 250 priests were trained in the ritual from 50 different countries. In 1976, Anneliese Michel from Germany endured 10 months of 67 demonic exorcisms from her body and died. So why have exorcisms grown in popularity?
if you can't get the demon out in the first couple of exorcisms, just let it go, because you're doing more damage at that point than like,
This shit's real. Like, I know you've talked about doing exorcisms, but I don't know. I've never personally came into contact with somebody who was totally taken over by an entity, you know? Like, sometimes I wonder if it isn't just these poor people have psychological conditions and then they're just fucking killing them, you know? So it's kind of what it sounds like. Because you're right.
Yes.
If you can't banish the demon and, you know,
the
first time, you're probably not going to do it the second, third.
Or try a different system. Like, do we need to tie a nun to a cross for 3 days? No. You know, do you need to, like, it should not be this horribly stressful. Yeah, and if it's taking that long, it's probably not demonic possession, like in my personal or professional opinion. You're probably looking at somebody who's very mentally ill. You tend to see this demonic possession in religions where you get a lot of what do we call that, attention from having a demon inside of you, right? So now you're going to get so it's a lot of in Christianity in particular. You get it in all cultures to some extent, but not to the extent that you get it in Catholicism in particular. So I am, without going into all the details, I do talk about this. I touch on it a little bit in the chakra class that I'm getting ready to record here in a few days. Sexual assault and abuse is one of the biggest drivers of demonic influence, like truly demonic activity. Okay. And it's not usually somebody, you know, like Linda Blair, you're not vomiting pea soup and you're, you know, doing bad things with the crucifix. It's not usually that. It's a little bit more like, it's just not as obvious. You know, if we're looking at a parasite, the parasite doesn't want to kill its host most of the time. It wants to go on just feeding off of you. But the sexual assault, basically what happens is to put it simply, if I can put it into terms, and you guys can take this for what you will, but the sacral chakra is damaged. And this is the chakra. It's not quite the root. It's not quite the navel. It's between the physical and emotional and mental. So it's this nice sweet spot where a very specific type of entity likes to come in. We can broadly classify them as incubi, succubi if you want to. But they kind of go in and they latch on because there's damage, there's a vulnerability there, and then they feed from the individual. So obviously, for obvious reasons, a lot of sexual abuse and assault does not go reported. So, and even when you approach somebody about it, and in the case of demonic possession, that's the first thing that somebody should be asking. I guarantee you the priests aren't asking for obvious reasons. You know, they for all we know, they might be involved in said sexual mistreatment. So, but when you realize what's going on, that there's this very deep emotional, physical, and psychological damage that's been done to a person, you realize that in order to get the parasitic entity out, you have to heal some of those issues. So, you know, the power of Christ compels you is not the way to go in a lot of cases. I mean, yeah, it can be if it's a very superficial type of attachment. You know, you played with the Ouija board and now you think you've let something into your system. Sure, we can speak Jesus or Krishna or whoever we want to speak at you, and we can probably get rid of it. But something very insidious like that requires a lot of therapy. And
absolutely. Yeah, you can't shame somebody into healing, you know, and that's a lot of, I think, what the church does. I mean, I think it's I don't know. I just don't like, it's not a lot of love. Okay. I haven't seen a lot of love. I've seen a lot of shame and a lot of finger pointing and a lot of finger shaking, and you can't heal people that way. Sorry. It doesn't work.
No, it does not. Definitely doesn't.
Well, according to the church, it's because of a decline in Christianity. To combat the rise of demonic possession, Pope Francis called on priests to openly encourage exorcisms. And over the last 60 years, 260,000 exorcisms, more than 7 per day, have been carried out inside the actual Vatican. Now, if your head isn't spinning now, put on the movie The Exorcist.
Yeah, again, it shouldn't take you like years to get rid of something like that. If you're not getting rid of it, you don't actually want to get rid of it, because you can hang on to that thing.
10 months. She was under that bullshit for 10 months, and then she died. Like,
well, yeah,
it kind of sounds like torture to me.
Yeah, well,
like she got tortured to death.
I believe, I don't recall for sure, but I think her parents were prosecuted too. Like they got into trouble. So did the priest, I believe. So
Good. They should be, because that's not normal.
No,
I don't know.
Again, they approach the situation from a very rigid view, which is like their religion has the answers to what's going on, when it's actually closer to something extraterrestrial. I mean, it's an interdimensional situation, but it's closer to something extraterrestrial than it is spiritual. But so they're looking at it through a prism of Catholicism, and you're very limited on what you're able to do. And again, if you don't want the demon to go away, if now you have this like symbiotic relationship where you're getting the attention from it and it's making you feel special and important, it doesn't matter who compels whatever deity at you, you're not probably going to get rid of it because you don't want to. And that's a real thing that happens.
And I think that that's like toxic positivity, thinking that everything is going to be great and fine all the time. Sometimes you have to feel the hate. I mean, sometimes I saw a meme once, and they were like, "Yes, let the hate flow through you." And I was like, oh, I do need that. I'm just going to let the hate flow through me instead of being upset and ashamed that I'm like mad about something. Sometimes you can't suppress it all.
Right. I agree with you.
To fucking let the hate flow through you. Punch a pillow. Do something like that's not going to hurt anybody else or yourself.
Yeah. Scream,
like, but you don't need it. I don't know. I don't know if you need an exorcism.
Suppressing your rage is not healthy either.
Not healthy.
Not healthy.
The solar flare.
Oh, this is more Jaggi Vasudev Sadhguru. I don't know what he's saying over here. He's talking about the planetary alignment.
It's rare.
Again,
it's so rare.
Yeah, but they're not aligned like this. Like people are making it seem. They're just, you can see them all in the sky. So
it's really cool.
It is cool.
It is really cool. I've been watching. I've been looking. The skies are clear.
Yeah.
Kicked out. It has a significant impact on the magnetic field of the planet and the amount of radiation that happens. Unless you believe you understand, you cannot accept anything. The solar flare activity in the sun has gone up significantly, and it's going up further, maybe about…
He says significantly a lot. If you listen to him talk ever, that's like his go-to adjective.
17, 18 months ago, it started. When the solar flares increase, it has a significant impact on the magnetic field of the planet and the amount of radiation that happens. There are various things. I don't want to go into the science of it.
I don't want to go into the science of it because I'm not a scientist.
It's probably best that he doesn't go into the science of it.
Yeah.
Okay. A few people who come from Mars, they also have their own problems, but on planet Earth, there is significant impact. All life is impacted. Unless you believe you understand, you cannot accept anything. These are very crippling states. But unfortunately, people have come to this. When I say you believe you understand, do you really understand how this…
You're too stupid to understand. Unless you listen to me, then you're too dumb to understand.
I'm so confused. I have no idea what he's talking about right now. Like no idea at all.
How it is going around the sun, and how this is all working, and how it is impacting your body, and how you're living, and how your breath is happening. Do you really understand?
Yeah, we do. That's what we do. We're astrologers. We do understand, Jaggi.
But you read it in the 6th standard textbook. You're a textbook scientist and you know all of it, you know everything. So essentially, except for a few top-notch scientists maybe, but the rest of them, science is like religion. They just believe what is said in one book. If you believe, you become religious. If you believe what is said in many textbooks, you become scientific. Very few people are real scientists who are genuinely exploring. So for most of them…
not him. He's not a real scientist.
No, he doesn't want to go. He just doesn't want to go into it, Niki.
Talking about the educated class of people, science is generally like religion. Only thing is, with science, you could change your opinion after 2 years. With religion, if you change, you'll get poked. Except for that, it is the same kind of
Poking
belief
you.
system. So these solar flares are happening, autonomic nervous system is seriously impacted by this, everybody knows this.
According to the article published by NASA, in January, you will have the opportunity to take in 4 bright planets in a single sweeping view. Now, these events are sometimes called alignments of the planets. And while it's true that they will appear more or less along a line across the sky, that's what planets always do. That line is called the ecliptic, and it represents the plane of the solar system in which the planets orbit around the sun. This is incidentally why we sometimes observe planets appearing to approach closely to each other on the sky, as we view them along a line while they careen around.
Yeah, so again, when
Okay.
they show them like that, it makes them look like they're lined up that way, and that's not what's going on. What were you gonna say?
Well, I was just gonna say, like, he probably obviously didn't put this together.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
The
The same
cosmic
guy
racetrack.
talking, right?
Yeah, it's a different guy now.
This is exactly what we will be seeing from Venus and Saturn as they head for a super close approach in mid-January. After the beginning of the month, they quickly get closer and closer each evening, appearing at their most cozy on the 17th and 18th before going their separate ways. Here are the phases of the moon for January.
Okay, so
The
this
very
is
process of
older.
our birth is connected to these cycles. If you complete 7 solar cycles, you will complete 1008 lunar cycles. That is, if you live for 84 years and 3 months, you would have completed 7 solar cycles
What?
I don't get it.
I don't know what he's talking
and
about.
1008 lunar cycles. If you just manage to live that long, if you just manage to live, you complete 7 solar cycles and 1008 lunar cycles, then you can break a certain bond with the earth.
We're just too dumb to
born-
know.
What's he
That's
basing
what it
this
is.
on? He's just totally throwing this out of the ether. I don't know what he's talking about.
With the planet is broken largely and
Oh my God.
very easily, with very little assistance, even if you know nothing about anything. With very little assistance, you can go beyond the cycles of birth and death because you're born with the planet and the material of the planet, the memory of which you carry within you and the memory of you, the material also carries. You will break that bond. Once this bond is broken, then the work that needs to be done is very simple. When people say the salt of the earth, it has more meaning than most people understand. You are the salt of the earth. This whole body is just a small blob which has just popped out of this planet. What you call as myself right now is just a little blob of earth which just splashes out and falls back.
All right, thanks, Joggy Bye. I appreciate it, buddy.
He doesn't make a lot of sense at all.
He just shoots salad like nonstop. It's just
Yeah. How the hell did he get famous?
he had a great marketing team. Literally, he worked for like newspapers. He did TV interviews, and he just really hit the marketing. He got some good publicity with Modi, and you know, like he just made friends in high places, and he marketed himself. He's a businessman.
It's a bunch
So-
of made up shit except for the alignment stuff.
That is right. Yeah, he just makes stuff up, and people love it. They eat it up.
Oh, yeah. And we can't fail. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Telling the truth.
He talks so much smack to people too. If they try to like ask him a smart question and like ask him about some facts, he like threatens them with lawsuits. Yeah, he's a monster, and I don't understand how people get sucked into that. I guess because some of the techniques he uses are helpful to him, but a lot of the techniques he's just pulled from older gurus and stuff. Like he you know, so sure, some of it works, but okay, yeah, you get it. This lady, she's talking about Starbucks astrology, and she's talking about tropical. So let's see what she has to say here.
You cannot tell me with a straight face and a clean heart that there are not deep negative ramifications for you all consuming Starbucks spirituality, specifically Starbucks astrology. You're telling me something that was cultivated through violence, colonialism, upholds deep racism, a lot of oppression, and is deeply whitewashed and so removed from its purpose doesn't have a negative effect on you. And nothing proved to me more about my like actual disgust in Starbucks spirituality than the fact that you all believe there was a full moon in Libra yesterday. This is the thing.
I don't know how old this video is. But she's definitely making it clear that people don't know where the moon is full at.
That you all forget and your egos flare up about. You are attached to something that is so far away from its purpose, so far removed from the knowledge and the actual people that are practitioners in it, that you expect the same outcomes. And then you live in these perpetual cycles of consumption, unhappiness, a lot of unhealthy habits, and wonder why things don't work out with you. Again, look at what you're consuming and who you're consuming it from. let's go deeper into it. So what's
Wait a
the
minute.
Starbucks?
Is this over Starbucks? Is this over like
She's referring to like
pop culture astrology?
yeah, pop culture, spirituality, and astrology in particular. So, and which is tropical astrology and all the like stupid, memes and videos and all the goofy stuff that just people doom scroll and come across.
Oh my god, yeah, keep going. Let's see what else she
We're
says.
telling you manifestation. Oh my god, like a great time for a relationship, new beginnings, and isn't it really interesting that Ramadan, Passover, Visakhi, Easter, Hanuman's birthday were all happening and are happening at the same time? These are all about the following traits: sacrifice, seeing people for who they are, faith in God. All three of these deal with the themes of endings. And on the note of endings, since the beginning of 2020, all the way up until the 29th of May of this year.
I don't know when this was made, so I don't know what time period she's talking about. I don't think it's super old, though.
We are in the last cycle of death. We have a bunch of planets in Ashwini. You'll know that as Aries type 1 to 4. It literally represents reincarnation and the last rites of death. It's basically the darkest period before dawn. Now think about everything you've gone through in the last 2 years. Is it starting to add up to you? And isn't it really interesting how you keep forcing things and how it keeps getting thrown back in your face? It's because you're consuming stuff that goes against divine timing. And
well, I can't argue with that part of it.
I
don't know about the patriarchy and the
last
racism. I mean, I'm not sure about that, but
we don't have anything in Aries right now.
Yeah, I don't know when she made the video, but she's definitely right. I mean, it's not good to just scroll through goofy like nonsense, which is a lot of the content. I mean, people, and not to say anything bad about Joni, because I mean, like I said, good on her for making daily videos.
I do love Joni. We joke about Joni, but Joni's awesome.
But like some of those people, they're just making a video to post it, and they'll put whatever out there that's going to get clicks, and that means saying some pretty crazy stuff that doesn't make any sense, and it's just made up nonsense. And there's a lot of astrologers who know full well where the planets really are, and they still won't leave tropical because they don't want to lose clients, because most of their money comes from tropical clients.
That is so true.
Let's see what we got here.
Women getting on board with like finding a way to make it okay and finding a way to find their power and their voice within this construct, this belief that women really were second to men and really were created for men's sake. And, like I just think of all the church settings I've been in where I've heard people talking about that and not questioning it,
We can thank some of the church fathers, actually. And I'm not blaming anybody, and I'm not even blaming history. I think it's important to know the zeitgeist they lived in and how they lived, what kind of society Tertullian, and these other church fathers who are like, you almost wonder, and I mean, I'm making a jab here, kind of a funny joke, like, could you not get laid or something, dude?
Well, that's a good point.
Right. Thou thought I was ugliest.
Yeah. The Sumerians, I mean, I can't say that women were totally equal, but they could own land, they could divorce their husbands. They like a lot of the priestly class were women. So that women are a subspecies of human definitely comes in later, although some of it was probably a little bit already in play during the Babylonian period. And I'm not the expert on that subject, but definitely by the rise of Judaism in the ancient world, that whole idea of like women as second-class citizens and menstruation scary and all that comes on the scene at least in that part of the world. Yeah. We'll do a couple more. I got a couple more in here if you don't mind.
That is funny.
We got a few minutes.
That's actually one of the reasons why I left my church, because he was like, well, you need to go home and talk to your husband about this. And I was like, I am the husband. Okay. I'm the wife. I'm the husband. I do everything. Okay. So we're done here.
Yeah.
Perhaps the only thing more bizarre than a massive network of lakes, rivers, and even a dense forest the size of Texas.
What about? I'm sorry about that.
Perhaps the only thing more bizarre than a massive network of lakes, rivers, and even a dense forest the size of Texas in the middle of the Sahara Desert, along with numerous cities, settlements, and even castles blanketing virtually the entire region of the Sahara, is the realization that these lost 600-year-old maps literally annotate these geological features several thousand years prior to their modern scientific discovery. How could they have possibly have known of the existence of the Green Sahara 5,000 years before us?
Yeah,
well,
so
yeah, because according to archaics, I mean, existence only started like 2,000 years ago, right? I mean,
right.
This is a little different. Okay.
Yeah, they have satellite images of cities all over, farms, the remnants of farms and stuff, all through the Sahara Desert. It's not that old.
But perhaps the only thing stranger than that is the fact that one of the first ever maps of the African continent seemingly shows a giant, white, naked, one-eyed cyclops in the middle of what is in modern-day Nigeria and Cameroon. My name is Jimmy Corsetti. Subscribe to the Bright Insight YouTube channel to see my latest video on this unbelievably thought-provoking topic.
Yeah, he's got good videos. I like
That's
his
pretty
videos.
cool. Yeah, we have seen like big skeletons and shit of giants come out. I think that stuff's real. I've seen pictures of it. I mean, I don't know, guys. I've been a mom for like ever, so I've been like stuck at home for the last 20-something years. So some of this shit isn't new to anybody, but it's like new to me.
There's giants in every culture. Like they all talk about them, and it's not Nephilim, you guys. It's not. We can't keep blaming the Nephilim. Oh, so frustrating. People don't understand the concept of like what mythology is. I'm not saying that gods aren't real, or like I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that let's not take everything so very literally, and let's stop getting sucked into this whole Nephilim nonsense. Okay, last one.
How long it's going to take before the rigid mindsets that are in place right now, and this idea of this resistance to change that we were talking about when it comes to science, when it comes to accepting this asteroidal impact theory, it's going to be a big factor in our cultural evolution. It really will.
Well, it was a big factor. In the 60s, it was a huge factor. What happened, you had a very closed conservative society, and then you had an outside shock in the form of the psychedelic drugs that came in and completely stirred up everything in art and music and fashion, and even into scientific concepts of our place.
Did I see two tanks doing it just now? Did you see that, Nikki?
Go back.
That
I
came
want to
in,
see it.
stirred up everything in art and music and fashion. And
Oh my God. Yeah, they were.
Okay, I just want to make sure I wasn't imagining things.
Down with that.
Okay.
even into scientific concepts of our place in the universe and time and space, and in so many ways that had just a major impact on the direction that our society went. What would be the equivalent today or in our near future in terms of an outside shock that would suddenly wake people up would be another event, another Tunguska event. And based upon everything that I've seen, it would suggest that events like that are going to happen, and probably within our lifetime.
I wonder.
Yeah, did you see that that asteroid? Now they're saying we have like a 3% chance of getting hit by it in like what, 2034 or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen that.
Just a matter of time. It's not if, it's when.
I know. There's a lot going on with that asteroid stuff that I just kind of ignored. I was like, oh, okay, good.
Yeah, I mean, they're not. If they can't do anything about it, we can't do anything about it. Just live.
Yeah.
Just live your life and not worry about
that's
it.
how I feel. Just do what you can. Just do what you can.
Oh, somebody on X said, don't forget Mars is a simp. Okay. Good to know. Good to know.
He can be, like, he's sensitive, right? I mean, in the old stories, he turned himself into like a bald, scared old man, and he could totally be a simp.
Cried like a girl. Yep. Sure did. Sure did. Well, I had fun talking astrology with you today, Nikki.
I had a good time. I love these
me too.
TikToks. You're making me want to go on there. I gotta not though.
Yeah. Oh, don't.
Trying to keep my brain together.
To pull those together, I had to sift through so much garbage. Like, it's definitely not worth your time. And I only did it because I love all of the people who are watching the show. And I wanted to make sure we had good stuff to entertain you with. Otherwise, no, it is not worth your time. Go to, like I said, there's good people. Madrika is good. He does, he's from Michigan, I think. He's got a really cool channel. Who else? iTrek is another one that I watch. And then DM Reacts. Those are my favorite. Oh, Huevo. They do all that stuff so that you don't have to do it and I don't have to do it. And if I could figure out how they get all their compilations together, because I know they're not putting them all together themselves, I would just do that, but I don't know how. So I'm doing it the caveman way for now. But it's working. It's interesting. So it was cool to go through it. But yeah, so thanks everybody for jumping on with us today. Lorna, Roxanne, Look Up Astrology was on here. Speak English with Lorna again was on. Friar Pezzo. Who else did we have? Mermaids Wear Hats. Hey everybody. We also had who else was that? Oh, Kaleo Green Bay. It doesn't roll off the tongue. I'm just gonna say that, but very good to have you. And Double J JH was on here. I think I'm saying J. So thanks everybody. We love you, and we'll be back next week. I think I'll be on tomorrow. I don't know, lunchtime-ish.
Oh my God, I've been loving your live streams. I missed the last one, but I was able to like listen to it, and I love it.
I sneak them in, and I don't ever know exactly when I'm going to be doing them. So yeah, they're cool. I like them. It's not too bad. So thanks, I appreciate that. Well, we'll be back on next week. Nikki and I'm not sure when Fry will be back on, but I'll let you guys know. I do think, do we have a guest next week? Let me check real quick. Stand by. Nikki, joke, go.
Oh God, stop. Don't do that to me. I don't have one.
Okay, most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you ever. Go ahead.
Oh my God. Okay, one time my friend...
Oh, wait. No, it's okay. You don't have to. You can save it. Okay. Next week we have Pixie Dust and Spirit Alchemy is going to be on with us. So that's going to be awesome. I'm very excited. Yeah, so check out her channel too. But she'll be on next week. So yeah, we'll be here. Well, you guys take care of yourself. Have an awesome week. Happy new moon. I hope that this month brings you all of the wonderful things that you could ever want in life. And yeah. All right. We'll see you guys next time.